It all started with a large flare that flew through space. It entered the Earth's atmosphere and people saw a portal in the sky. People immediately raised their heads up and started pointing at the sky, telling others to look what it was. "It's moving." Someone asked, "Is this an unidentified flying object?" A snake crawled out of the portal and people began to run away in panic and shout that it was the end of the world. Some child lost his mother and started crying and screaming, "Where is her mother?" A mother separated from her daughter and asked people to save her child. The snake opened its mouth wide and buildings began to explode and people began to shout that they needed to escape. The day of judgment had come. Since the opening of the portal to another dimension, most of the land and all the oceans of the planet have been filled with demonic creatures. When the planet's aura was restored, people awakened special talents within themselves and began to develop them to become warriors, fight monsters, and protect humanity. This is how people created a safe zone that has existed for decades now. The year 2030 has arrived, Lionchi City. Instead, the diner was full of life, someone was drunk, and someone had eaten and told the owner of the establishment that she had left money on the table. The owner thanked them and said goodbye. The guy who was rubbing himself at the entrance noticed a man in front of him who entered the diner. He pushed the guy out of the way and said that he would have 4 plates of rice as usual. He called out to Jiang Han and said that he also wanted scrambled eggs with tomatoes and stewed meat. Han accepted his order and calling him uncle who said that let him sit down first. Who sat down at the table and told him to hurry up, he was hungry. Meanwhile, Han began chopping onions, putting rice on plates, and after a while he ran out of the kitchen and said that he was already bringing it. He began to set the table and asked Uncle Hu how his foray into the wasteland went. Uncle Hu told him not to remind him. Everything was fine until he came across the spiny-maned boar king. Han spread the food on the table and Uncle Hu said that it seemed that this monster had lost its mind and attacked them as soon as it saw them. The building in which they were hiding was destroyed. If they hadn't run into the subway tunnel, they would have been in trouble. But unfortunately, Han tensed and asked what happened. He answered upsetly that this creature had bitten his Uncle Lee and he had lost his arm. Han said that he needed to prepare soup for him. Uncle asked him to wait and Han asked, "What is it?" Han sat down next to him. Uncle Hu hugged him a little and asked if he is not mistaken, he is almost 18, right? Shouldn't he wake up soon? Han replied that he turned 18 last week, so he was already awakened. Uncle Hu asked how it went. What talent does he have? Han replied that he had a C-rank talent, a strong blow. Other visitors heard this and one of them asked, "Isn't this the lowest rank of talent?" Some guy called him Da Lion and asked if he was drunk again. What is he laughing at? Doesn't he have the same rank? Even booze can't shut him up. Da Lion said with a grin that most of them have such a rank, they cannot become warriors in this life, so they are forced to hide in a safe zone. They can only sit here, washing their grief down with booze, stupidly existing in a world infested with evil creatures. Who got angry and grabbed Da Lion by the clothes and asked what nonsense he was talking about. Da Lion was scared and said that he was not drunk. Han told Uncle Hu that he would go make soup for Uncle Lai. He walked into the kitchen, listening behind him to the words that he cares so much about his family. He is sure he still has hope. Han hurriedly moved on and thought that he had no hope with the C-rank talent. He placed a live chicken on a stump and raised a knife over it. In one fell swoop he cut off the chicken's head and thought that he didn't have the slightest chance. The system reported that he killed an old chicken. For this he gets 1 unit of experience. Current experience, 1 unit out of 1000. Talent activated from the rank strong blow. Proficiency level +1. Current proficiency level, 1 unit out of 1000. Synchronization of the game system has been successfully completed. He received the rookie kit. The newcomer's recruitment is open. He received a storage, an experience increase card and a talent improvement card. Han took a closer look. Is this the game system? A system window appeared in front of him, which showed his characteristics. That his combat power is 325, level 1, strength 25, agility 26, constitution 23, intelligence 17. He carefully looked at his stats and thought, is this some kind of stat window? The system asked if he wanted to move to storage. Han agreed, and after that he disappeared from the system space and ended up in another room. He looked around and thought, is this the vault? System cubes with items he had were flying into the storage room. Among them was an experience boost card, which, for 3 hours after opening, doubles the experience gained from killing monsters. There is also a talent upgrade card here that increases your proficiency level by 1 after use. Han thought, can talent be pumped up? He had never heard of such a thing. He reached for the map and thought that after awakening talent, it cannot be changed. Therefore, just by looking at a person's talent, you can immediately understand whether he will become a warrior or not. He took out a card and thought, if talent can be changed, then he too can become a warrior. The system asked, does he want to use a talent upgrade card? Han agreed and the card in his hands began to disappear, and after the system reported that the talent upgrade card had been successfully applied, the C-rank talent strong strike was changed to the B-rank talent critical strike. When attacking, there is a 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit, increasing the damage 3 times. Feature information has been updated. Han looked at his characteristics and was very surprised to see that not only his talent had changed, but his combat power had also increased by 191 units. He was delighted and said that he had trained hard for 6 years. His combat power was only 325, and using the card he had improved so much. What kind of system is this anyway? Suddenly he felt a trembling and thought that he had a feeling as if an inexplicable force had poured through his body. He swung the knife, cutting the stump in half, and he was even able to make a crack in the tabletop. Han was surprised at his strength, and the system reported that the B-rank talent critical strike was activated, proficiency level +1. Han thought that if he struck such a blow on a monster, it should leave a deep wound on it, right? Meanwhile, in the common room, Uncle spoke on the phone and said that it wasn't that he didn't want to go. Old Lee was wounded and they no longer have a scout. If they act rashly, he's afraid they won't be able to complete the mission and something terrible will probably happen. Well, they're moving out in 3 days. He will contact his friends and find out if they have scouts who can join them on a foray into the wasteland. Han heard his conversation and asked what happened. Is he heading out into the wasteland again? His uncle confirmed his words and asked if he hadn't heard. As he knows, on the way back they stumbled upon the spiny-maned Boar King and lost all their things. Now Uncle Long wants to try to get them back. He left the establishment and said that since his Uncle Lee was injured, they no longer had a scout. Han remained silent and after a short pause said that it was a pity that he could not help. Hu remained silent and then put his hand on his shoulder and said that he would have another chance. He said goodbye to him and said that he was leaving. Han looked after him and thought that in order to go into the wasteland, his level must be more than 1000 and he must have a warrior's certificate. He must find a way to level up and become stronger. After a while he came to the broiler farm and his uncle asked why it took him so long. If he hadn't come, he would have had to find someone else to work part-time. Han apologized to Uncle Da and said that he would kill a couple of chickens before leaving. He ran to the chicken coop and Uncle Da thought that young people were always in a hurry to get somewhere. After a while, Han put on an apron and went into the chicken coop to kill the chickens. He swung his knife, killing the chickens, and the system reported that the amount of experience gained had been doubled. The remaining time is 2 hours. He killed 2 old chickens. For this he receives 4 units of experience. Current experience is 5 out of 1000. Han thought that he received 2 experience points for 1 chicken, so he is also paid for it. It is excellent. Now it's time to hunt. He began to exterminate all the chickens in the hen house and gain experience for it. 2 hours later the system reported that the experience level had reached 1000 points. Level increased to second. He unlocked the quest system and he also received 100 additional stat points and 1 additional talent slot. Han was overjoyed and thought that he had finally leveled up. And he received 100 stat points. He needs to distribute this 100 into 4 characteristics. Uncle Yes came into the chicken coop and asked how you were doing. Han turned around and said that he had finished his work for today. He had killed a little more, so he would collect the payment later. Uncle Da looked at the dead chickens in shock and Han said goodbye to him, saying that he was late for school, so he had to go. Uncle Yes thought, isn't he trying too hard? How was he able to kill hundreds of chickens? After a while, Han approached the school and thought that the reward for the task was a talent card. Looks like he'll need an awakening stone to unlock his second talent. But where can he get it? Suddenly his friend Chang Hao appeared behind him and threw his hand on his shoulder and asked what he was thinking about. He's so inattentive. Han said that he scared him. He doesn't know where to get the awakening stone. Hao asked, awakening stone? Why does he need this? Hasn't he already woken up? Han replied that he wanted to buy it for research so that he could later build a collection. Hao asked, he heard that Jiang Jiu had awakened an S-rank talent. She was accepted into Mizuki University. Han asked again, Mizuki University? This is a top university. Hao was surprised and said that they were childhood friends. Didn't she tell him? Han said that since she had awakened such talent, it was no surprise that she was accepted into such a place. Hao agreed with him and said that after awakening a talent of this level, her damage immediately skyrocketed to 2000 and even more. And he only has C rank, it will be difficult for him to get even 1000 points of damage. Well, one of them floats in the sky and the other crawls on the ground. Han remained silent and a second later the girl called out to him. All the students turned towards her and someone said that it was Jiang Jiu. She entered Mizuki University. She walked up to Han and told him to come here. The students continued to look at her in shock and Han approached her and asked why she was here. She asked, why can't she come? She also studies at this school. Hao said goodbye to them and said that he still had things to do, he would leave them. After that, Han and Jiu walked away to talk. Han sat on the bench and asked if she wasn't accepted into the university. Why did she come to him? She replied that she was actually here to say goodbye and give him something. She took out a box and said that Mizuki University has a special program for people like her. She will have to go to the wasteland for 4 months, and she will return only after the start of the school year. She handed him the box and said it was for him. He asked what is this? She replied that she received it from the university after enrolling, but she didn't need it, so she gave it to him. Finally, she turned around and said that she also wants to say that the Han she knows never gives up. She will be waiting for him at Mizuki University. Han opened the box, thinking about the university, and saw inside a scroll on which it was written that these were 9 thunder blades. The system reported that a high-level Earth-class combat skill had been detected. Does he want to study it? Han was surprised and asked again, is this a high-level Earth-class combat skill? There are 4 greatest skill classes. One high-grade Earth-class skill costs at least 50 million Alliance coins. Did Jiu give him a martial arts book so he could get into Mizuki University? He can't let her down. He agreed to learn the skill, and the system reported that he had successfully learned the 9 Thunder Blades skill. This skill is compatible with the B-rank talent Critical Strike. When using the skill, the chance of the talent triggering increases to 70%. The owner can increase the chance by increasing the skill level to 100%. Han thought, is critical hit compatible with this skill? Probability of operation is 70%. What will be the effect? He should try it out in the martial arts exam. That's right, he will do just that. He will receive a warrior's certificate and then buy an awakening stone for the second talent. Go to Mizuki University. It's not that big of a problem. After a while, Han approached a high building, and looking at the statue of a fiery lion with different eyes and a winged iron tiger, he realized that these were rare high-level beasts, and in front of him was the hall of the Warriors Guild. He went inside and saw a line ahead that was moving towards the force meter. He walked up to the girl and she told him to fill out the registration sheet and then get in line for the first test, and then he had to go up the stairs for the combat skills assessment. Han began to fill out the registration form, and the people who stood in line were surprised at the guy's strength. One of them told the others to just look at it. This guy's punching force is more than 500 kilograms. The girl asked, 500 kilograms? Is this in a rank? The last guy in line showed a strength of 512 kilograms, and the man said, that's great, let the next one start. Han came closer and the man asked him to tell him his name and talent rank. Han replied that his name was Han, he had a B rank. The man wrote his name down on the list and said he could proceed. Han prepared himself and clenched his fist to strike, and then he struck and the numbers on the machine began to rise rapidly. The man was surprised and asked what it was. The machine measured Han's strength at 2108 kilograms, and the man exclaimed, is this machine broken? Han was overjoyed and thought that he did not expect that training for a few days could improve his abilities so much. The man said that he should choose a weapon and go to the room for the next test. Meanwhile, people who recently took the test were wondering why his numbers were so high. There must be something wrong with this device. Han chose a weapon and thought that a dagger would be more convenient. It's time to try out the 9 Thunder Blades. A man came out of the room and said that it was the next person's turn. Han walked inside the room and the man said that certain risks were prohibited with this exam. When he can no longer fight, let him shout to stop the test and he will come. He closed the doors behind him and the assessment of combat skills began. Han turned around and noticed a huge tiger behind him, which attacked him. He was scared, but managed to orient himself in time and quickly pressed himself to the floor to dodge. He slid a few meters and the tiger turned around. Han looked at the beast and rubbed the bruise. Meanwhile, in the observation room, someone asked why he was hesitating. Another man said that with his speed, even if he was hit once, he could probably run to the door. Does he still want to continue the test? An aura began to emanate from Han, and the observer said in surprise that this was a combat skill. The tiger attacked Han and he shouted that he was going to hunt animals in the wasteland. He used 9 thunder blades on the tiger and cut off its head. After that, the tiger's body disappeared and the system reported that the level of mastery of the 9 thunder blades had increased by 1. A critical hit is activated. This attack deals 8 times more damage. Han thought that this critical hit skill was unexpectedly powerful. After that, the voice announced that the combat skills assessment was completed. Result, rank A+. A man entered the room and said that even those who fight in the wasteland cannot achieve such a rank. How did he do it? Han scratched the back of his head and replied that he was not sure. He just waved the sword and used the talent. That's what happened. Maybe he was just lucky. The man said that he passed the test anyway. He needs to put away the weapon and go to the 6th floor, where he will be given an identification. After a while, Han came out of the building and thought that he had received a warrior's certificate. All he had to do was buy the awakening stone. He looked at the ID and thought that it was better for him to keep his rank a secret for now, otherwise he would get into unnecessary trouble. Meanwhile, a hooded man was watching him and thought that everything was just beginning. After some time on the market for exotic materials, Hao hugged Han and said that this is a market for exotic materials. His alchemy shop is on the 3rd floor. If he wants to buy an awakening stone, he can find them on the 1st floor. Han said that they should go there then. His friend asked what Ji wanted to talk to him about. Han replied that it was all nonsense. Hao said that even if he doesn't speak, he knows. The gap between them is now huge. He can also buy potions to perform better in the university entrance exam. Han ignored him and, entering the store, asked the seller if they had an awakening stone. The woman replied that it was in the 3rd row, 500 coins for each stone. Let him choose what he likes. Han walked up to the shelves and asked why they were so cheap. Hao said that a person can awaken one talent. Few people buy them, naturally, they will be cheap. Han reached for the stone and said that then he would take this one. After the purchase, they left the store and Hao said that since he was here, they should go to the weapon store. He wants to buy himself a new weapon. Han agreed and said that he needed it too. They entered the store and the seller greeted them and began to tell them about his products. He showed Han the dagger and said that these daggers are 10 times stronger than ordinary steel. Han thought that with this, his strength should increase to 5 points. He took the dagger and asked how much it cost. The man replied that it costs 82 coins, it is made of blue steel, so the price is a little higher. Don't worry, they give you 3 months to return it. Han agreed and said that he should pack it then. Hao approached him and asked what weapon he took. Han replied that he took the dagger. Hao asked again, dagger. This is not very useful for people with low talent ranks. Han replied that everything was fine, he just bought it for fun. It's late, if they finished, then they need to go home. His friend agreed and Han thought that he would come home and finally complete the second awakening. He wonders what will happen this time. Night came. Han sat in his room and looked at the awakening stone with the thought that he was so worried about waking up again. The system asked, does he want to start awakening the second talent? Han agreed and the system reported that the awakening of talent was in progress. He squeezed the stone in his hand and the system reported that energy had been detected that was blocking awakening. It was automatically absorbed and accumulated. An aura began to emanate from Han and the system reported that the awakening of the talent was completed. He received a rank talent, Insight. Han was delighted at the rank of the talent and thought that the first time he received only a C rank talent, but the second time he received a rank talent. He looked at his stats and thought that the 4 stats had been increased by a total of 60 points, and his combat power had increased by more than 13-0. Now he can finally go into the wasteland. After a while at the city walls, Hu approached his squad and the man asked where the scout he was looking for. Hu lit a cigarette and said that they would go like this, he could take over the reconnaissance. Another man said it was a good joke. Is he also a scout? Did he not find anyone at all? Hu said that Uncle Lai was injured and the matter was urgent. Where will he find it? The man put his hand on his friend's shoulder and told him to forget it, he would become a scout. Suddenly Han shouted that their scout was here. Everyone turned around and Hu asked, did he bring them food? Han called Uncle Hu and said that he was here to go into the wasteland with them. Hu grabbed him by the shoulder and told him not to be stupid. He knows very well what a wasteland is like. He's not even a warrior, he can't be with them. The man agreed with him and told Han that he had a C-rank talent. Where should he go there? This is certain death. Han showed him his ID and said that he was already a warrior. Uncle Hu took it to look closer and the man asked, is this a warrior's ID? Hu said that it was real, it was issued by the warrior guild. The man asked Han what does this mean? Didn't he say that he awakened a talent from rank? Han thought that he couldn't tell them that he had awakened the system. Even if he says, they won't believe him. He said that he actually awakened the B-rank talent critical strike, not strong strike. He wanted to surprise them. Hu got angry and said that this was no joke to him. The man stopped him and asked Han, did he really want to go to the wasteland with them? Han replied that he really wanted to go, not just to stare, but to find his lousy father. Besides, didn't they have a spot freed up for a scout? He can take this place. Hu remained silent and Han said that the most important thing is that on the road he will be able to prepare food for everyone. He took everything he needed. Hu put his hand on his shoulder and said that if so, they would take him. But they need to agree, as soon as they enter the wasteland, let him obey him in everything. Han agreed and the fair-haired man said that he needed to have a snack first, and once they had eaten, they would hit the road. The man said he was so hungry. This time he won't have to eat only crackers. Han handed them boxes of food and they began to eat. Hu said that in order to go to the wasteland, they first need to travel for 4 hours on a special train. There are some dangerous guys there, so let him be careful. Besides, he doesn't have normal equipment, he needs to buy it when they arrive. And they also need to prepare a spare ring. Han agreed and said that he remembered everything. They boarded the train and Hu said that they needed to look for empty seats. They passed by some men and one of them looked at the fair-haired man and asked, isn't this old Dao? Did they take the yellow myth with them? He heard that their task this time was not easy. Are they not afraid to take on a newbie? Dao called him Lai Yong and said that it seems that when he first went out into the wasteland, he wet himself out of fear. Does he remember this? Lai Yong laughed and replied that he was simply warning the newcomer to be more careful with them. He couldn't even protect his own brother. Dao got angry and told him to repeat it again. Hu put his hand on Dao's shoulder and told him to calm down. Lai Yong reached for the sword and asked, what is it? Does he want to compete with him? He pointed the sword at him and asked, with his sword technique. Well, let him attack, he's ready. The squad members continued to hold Dao and he began to ask them to let him go. He will end him. He broke free and, drawing his sword, called him a brat and said that they would fight one-on-one. The loser will jump off this train. Lai Yong laughed and agreed, saying that he was worried about his elderly body. Hu said that Lai Yong's combat power is 48-0, but the old Dihaos are only 42-0, the difference is not small. The man agreed with him and Han thought that he should help him. His weak points are his left side and right calf. He approached Uncle Dao and said that he noticed that he had problems with his left side and right calf. Let him try to hit these places. Dao told him not to worry, let him stand back and watch him teach him a lesson. Lai Yong asked, "Is he finished?" He attacked him and told him not to embarrass himself in front of his new recruit. He raised his sword over him and told him to die. At the same moment, Dao used a sparkling sword and Hu asked, "Is he crazy? Did he start with the strongest move?" The man said that the B-rank sparkling sword can increase the speed by 80%, but it is very dangerous. Dao repelled Lai Yong's blow and he asked, "Is life not nice to him?" At the same moment his sword bounced back and Dao laughed, telling Han that he had a keen eye. He was right. He rushed at Lai Yong and told him to die. Lai Yong let go of the sword and fell to the floor. Hu smiled and told old Dao that as expected, his sword would not rust. The man laughed and said that he had taken it. Blood seeped out from under Lai Yong's head and his squad said that they need to attack them. Dao prepared his sword and said to attack. At that very moment, someone used their power and prevented the fight, throwing them in different directions. The man said that this is an S-rank talent, Gravity Field. Hu said that his strength is not below the level of a general. Han thought, does he have an S-rank talent? Is he that terrifying? The man said that fighting is prohibited here. If he sees this again, he will throw them all off the train. Han walked up to Uncle Dao and asked how he was. He replied that he was fine, he was just a little tired. Who is this guy? He is so strong. Hu said that he doesn't know, but he knocked them all down with one blow. His strength is scary. The man suggested first dealing with Dao's wound. Time passed and the train passed through the city wall and the entire detachment got off the train. Hu told Han that humanity's first line of defense is the steel camp. Han asked, the rest of the camp? Hu said that this is a safe zone and a supply area for warriors. The camp is guarded by strong warriors who can protect this place from mutated beasts. They went out onto the streets of the city and Han looked around. Hu pointed his finger at the building and said that equipment and supplies were sold there. Let him hurry up and buy everything he needs, they need to move out quickly. This time their target is the spiny-maned boar king. After purchasing everything they needed, they went into the wasteland and Hu told Han that as soon as they left the camp, they should be in full combat readiness. He needs to know about their talents. Han agreed and Hu said that he had a rank B talent, the element of fire, capable of accumulating elemental fire. Creating a fireball like this is the most basic skill of the fire element. Uncle Long has an A-rank talent, Explosive Dragon. He can increase his strength, agility and physique for a certain time. As for Uncle Dao, he had already seen his talent. B rank, Speed Increase. Their target is in the Fallen City number 283, which has been invaded by the king-level spiny-maned boar king. It is extremely strong, so everyone must be extremely careful this time. Han ran forward and told him not to worry, he could take care of himself and fulfill his duties as a scout. Suddenly he heard something and asked what that sound was. The ground began to tremble under his feet and Hu told him to quickly move aside. At the same moment, a python appeared from underground and sent a fireball towards Han. This is a medium mutation level beast, the flame python. Everyone quickly jumped to the sides and Hu said that the flame python's attacks are slow, but they need to be careful of its fire. Han took out a dagger and told him to watch him finish it off himself. He used his abilities and saw the weak points on the belly and thought that he thought so, he would hit the weak point. He rushed forward, took off his backpack and cut the python's belly. The system congratulated him for killing a medium mutation beast soldier, the flame python. He received 286 experience points. The level of proficiency in the A-rank talent Insight increased by 12 units. The level of proficiency in the B-rank talent Critical Strike increased by 12 units. Enough experience has been accumulated to increase the level. Its level is increased to 3. The reward is 100 stat points. Han smiled and thought that he had gained 286 experience at once. It's much faster than cutting up chickens. Dao called out to Han and said that he was strong. Han laughed and scratched his head and said that he had heard that snake meat was delicious, so they would enjoy the food today. Time passed. Han fried the snake's meat on the fire and someone from the detachment said that after all, the wasteland really needs its own cook. Hu agreed with him and said that otherwise all the killed animals would be wasted. Lung said that usually if they want to eat at a place like this, they have to go to prestigious hotels and the prices there are steep. And now, thanks to Baby Han, they will always have delicious food. The system showed Han the characteristics window. Combat power 4827, level 4, strength 120, agility 120, constitution 121, intelligence 124. Accumulated explosive power 5752. Once used, can increase his combat power for a short time. Han thought that after he added 100 stat points, his combat power had increased significantly. Hu approached him and said that today they would spend the night here. Moving through the wasteland at night is very dangerous. Han agreed and suddenly they heard a howl. After a short pause, Dao said that this was the howl of the wolves of the wasteland. Hu said the sound was coming from the southwest, about a kilometer away. Lung gathered his things and said that it would be very bad if they overtook them. They need to quickly pack their things and move northeast. Hu and Dao quickly began to put out the fire and Han ran after Long. Hu and Dao finished the logger and caught up with Long, who said that they needed to run northeast to the fallen city number 186. The wolves ran after them and Long said that they could not escape. The wolves continued to pursue them, but eventually they were surrounded and the party members drew their weapons. Hu called out to Han and said that the wolves of the wasteland are very fast, they need to find the right moment to attack. Han said that he understood him. He squeezed the dagger tighter and the wolf pounced on him, and then he thought that his weak spot was his stomach. He ripped open the belly of the wolf and Lung asked what his fighting power was. Did he kill the wolf with one blow? The fighting power of the wasteland wolves is more than 1,000. Han shouted that their weak point is the stomach. He thought that they attacked in a whole flock. They had absolutely no opportunity to counterattack. Lun fought off the wolves, but one of them sank its fangs into his arm and he screamed, and after that Hu used a flaming fist, hitting the wolf and throwing it aside. Han used 9 thunder blades on the wolf and Dao said with a smile that there are devils in still waters. Long called Han a brat and asked what kind of skill this was. It's so powerful. Hu told them not to get distracted. They will talk when they are done with the wolves. They are furious and are going to attack together. Han prepared himself and told them to attack. But suddenly the wolves ran away from them and he asked why they were retreating. The wolves began to howl at the moon and Han asked what they were doing. Hu realized what the howl was and Lung cursed and told them to look. He pointed his finger at the winged snow-white wolf and everyone froze in shock. This is the winged wolf king, a king-level beast. Hu said that it is a mutation of the wasteland wolf, the winged wolf king. Long said that this is a king-level beast. He called out to old Dao and said that if he could return alive, then let him remember to give his money to his stupid son. Dao asked, is he joking? Who can escape from a king-level mutant? Hu called out to Han and said that he could not help him in finding his father, let him forgive him. Han said that they must fight the wolf. Dao agreed and said that they cannot underestimate Han. Lung agreed and asked, King of the Wolves, die like that. They will fight. Han rushed forward and said that first, let him study its weak points. He pounced on the wolf and its eyes sparkled red. Hu got scared and told Han to come back quickly. Han jumped and, looking at the wolf, thought that he did not believe that it had no weaknesses. He struck the wolf, but his blade broke into pieces and he was greatly surprised. It fell to the ground and the wolf raised its paw, and Han was afraid when he realized what it was going to do. The wolf threw him back several meters with his paw and the whole squad ran towards him. Han told them to run quickly. Dao said that this is a high-level beast, they have no chance. Han said that rather than just waiting for death, it is better to die in battle. He rushed forward, taking out another dagger and said that he would distract it and let them run, maybe they would still have a chance. Lung exclaimed, why did he take after his father in stubbornness? Hu said that this is Brother Cheng's son after all. Let him come back now. Han slid across the ground and thought that even if this beast is of the level of a king, it simply must have weak points. He saw the weak points and realized that it was in the stomach. At the same moment the wolf attacked him with its wings and took off. Han cursed and the wolf flew straight at him, about to attack. At that same second, some kind of flash appeared in front of them and Han closed his eyes from the bright light. The man they had previously met on the train put his sword into the wolf's mouth and called out to Han. He asked, is he really not afraid to die? This man has Wugu level combat power. Hu asked in surprise, Wugu level combat power. Dao asked, does this really exist? The man took his sword out of the wolf's mouth and told Han to get up and help him deal with the small ones. He takes on the king of wolves. Han agreed, and after that the man went on the attack and Han thought, is this Wuhu? Such a powerful force. Han turned around and saw small wolves in front of him, heading towards them. He took the dagger stronger and told them to attack. Then he swung his dagger several times and killed the wolves. Meanwhile, the man fought in the air with the wolf king. He deflected the blow of the claws and Han said that its weak point was on the lower left side of the abdomen. The man thought, lower left abdomen. The wolf rushed towards him, but he ducked and ran under it, looking up at the monster's belly. At that moment he pierced the wolf's body with such force that it was thrown into the air. A strong aura emanated from the man and as a result, the dead wolf king fell to the ground, and the rest of the wolves began to scatter. Hu said admiringly, this is the strongest combat power. It looks scary. Dao asked, did he finish off the winged wolf king with one blow? Long confirmed his words and said that this was Wuhu. The man descended to the ground and put the sword behind his back. The squad members bowed to the man and said that the explosive dragon squad greeted him. The man pointed his finger at Han and asked what his name was. He replied that his name was Zhang Han. The man said that at such a young age, he had the combat power of a great warrior level and could even identify the weak point of a king level beast. A bright future awaits him. Dao asked in surprise, Han has achieved the combat power of a great warrior. The man pointed to the corpse and said that he could take the wolf's corpse for himself. Hu exclaimed that the corpse of a high-level beast was worth at least 1 million alliance coins. Dao asked how he thought. One wolf tooth costs 1 million. Han scratched his head awkwardly and said that the corpse of the winged wolf is so expensive, he can't accept it, but he thanks him. The man said that he should take the corpse and exchange it for good equipment. Let him consider it his investment in him. Let him remember his name is Wuhu Lai Qingyang. Han looked after him and thought, how far is he from the title of Wuhu? Long hit Han on the head and said that he was a brat. He hid his real strength from them and lied that he awakened with a C rank, but it turned out that his combat power was already at the level of a great warrior. Dao said that now he understood how he was able to find out about the weak points back then on the train. Let him admit, how many more secrets does he have from them? Han replied that he did not do it on purpose. Who told them to stop? Han is no longer small, he may have his own secrets. Moreover, his level of combat power is good news for the entire squad. He put his hand on his shoulder and suggested that he start cleaning up. Han agreed and asked, since this Wolf King is so dear, can they just divide the corpse among everyone? Who laughed and said that this was a gift from Wuhu, they wouldn't dare take it away from him. Long agreed and said that this was his investment in him. Han said that he was grateful to them just for taking him into the wasteland. Who put his hand on his shoulder and said let him accept it. He is still young and new to the wasteland, and the materials from the corpse will strengthen him even more. He will come back and exchange it for good equipment. Dao agreed and said that he would get himself a suitable weapon and they could enter higher level areas. Long said that they, the old men, had nowhere to improve their equipment. Han agreed and Hu said that there were still corpses of the wasteland wolves here, he would take care of them. Dao called out to Han and asked if they should have a snack after such a battle. Long asked if he hadn't just eaten. Han agreed and said that he would prepare everything now. Dao laughed, and after that some time passed. They set up camp and Lun, lying on a sun lounger, said that now they don't have to worry and get a good night's sleep. The whole earth was soaked in the blood of the Wolf King. The rest of the animals did not even dare to come close. Dao took a bite of meat and said it was so delicious. Hu called out to Han and said that upon his return, let him first go for the certificate of a great warrior. With this he will have the right to assemble his own squad of warriors. Han asked again, can he assemble a detachment? Hu confirmed his words and said that usually a team of people has a main attacker and 4 support people, but in their squad he is the main attacker. If he is supported, he will not be able to express himself to the fullest. So he can think about creating his own squad where he will be the main attacker. He said he understood. Hu stood up from the log and said that this was precisely why they insisted that he quickly improve his equipment, so let him think about it. Han agreed and Hu, stretching his shoulders, said that he did not need to rush, let him think carefully. Let him go to bed early, tomorrow they will enter the fallen city number 283, but they still have a long way to go. Han agreed, and after that he opened his stats window and thought that after one battle with the Wolf King, he had raised the 5th level. It seems that he needs to quickly increase his combat power. At the moment, his combat power is 5927 units, strength 156, agility 145, constitution 151, intelligence 149. After a while in the fallen city number 283, the squad entered the city and Hu said that there used to be a city called Changxi, very popular among tourists. But with the onset of disaster, people left this city and this place was filled with mutated plants and animals. They crossed the ruins and Hu said that they needed to take a higher point. He called out to Han and told him to inspect the area, and when he found traces of the spiny-maned boar king, then let him go around it. After a while, they hid in a shelter and Hu said that the purpose of the task this time was the medicinal herb duanian, which grows here. This is a starting star grade 2 item, one of the materials needed to prepare Huimin grade 4 medicinal powder. This is duanian grass, they need to collect 20 stems. Lung says they collected it last time. If not for this spiny-maned boar, the task would have already been completed. Hu says that Jiang Han will monitor the situation. He must be very careful with the boar king, because this monster is not one they can handle. Jiang Han agrees and hides on a tall building and watches. He uses the insight skill and looks around the area. He says that within a kilometer radius he sees several dozen animals. 2 beast generals of medium mutation and 7 generals of low mutation. He doesn't see the high mutation generals and the glow-maned boar king. Someone says that they will make their way quietly and will not touch any of these generals, because the smell of blood will quickly attract other animals. Their target is only duanian grass. Hu says that the place where this grass grows is 3 kilometers from here. It is very strange that they have not yet noticed the traces of a single animal. Jiang Han notices something and is surprised by it. Hu asks him what is there. He points to the side and says that there seems to be a herd of animals there. About 20 animals, more than 10 of them are generals of medium mutation, 3 more are generals of high mutation. Hu asks if he sees the boar king. Jiang Han says that he does not see this monster, but this herd seems to be moving towards duanian grass. Dao asks if it could be that the spiny-maned boar king is located there. Lung says they were unlucky with the location this monster chose. Hu runs and says that until they check, they won't know. They should try to avoid meeting that herd. They should collect the duanian grass and leave immediately. Some time later, a huge monster boar stands in the middle of the ruins and screams loudly. Jiang Han and the others are standing next to this monster. He asks if this is the queen of the boars and she gave birth to children. Who says that it is not surprising that she called other animals here because she needs to protect herself and her offspring. Wang says this is their chance. Usually the boar queen's combat power exceeds 50,000 points, but after giving birth, she falls into an extremely weak state. Jiang Han and Hu should wait here. He and Dao will lure her out so they can come over and collect the grass. Jiang Han agrees and says that they should be careful. Sometime later, he watches the boar queen and thinks that is expected from the boss. Although she has weakened, there are no weak points visible at all. Suddenly, a strong explosion occurs next to them, which is noticed by the queen of the boars. Who says she hasn't even moved, she needs to come up with another way. He will distract her, and he must collect the Duanian grass. Jiang Han says he understands him, he must be careful. Hu sneaks up to the queen and uses the flaming fist skill. The magical attack hits the monster's head. He starts to run away and tells this beast that she must follow him. The boar queen notices him and begins to run after him very quickly. At the same time, Jiang Han begins to collect Duanian grass. He thinks he's almost done, that should be enough. Why is the boar queen so huge and her children so tiny? He can easily kill them with one blow. They are harmless anyway, so he will leave them. What is there? He notices the plant and wonders if it is black striped bamboo. This is, after all, a medicinal plant of the third class of the middle star. The class of such a plant is higher than that of Duanian herb. This third-class plant was probably prepared by the boar queen to restore her strength. If he takes the bamboo, his combat power will increase significantly. He feels something strange. Jiang Han turns around and notices the boar queen standing next to him. She attacks him, but he manages to dodge this attack. He starts to run away and asks for help while the queen runs after him. He thinks that if he receives a direct blow, then he will definitely be finished. Jiang Han begins to run away and emits energy similar to lightning. He continues to run away very quickly and the boar queen stops. She misses him and starts screaming loudly. Sometime later, Lun notices something. He notices Jiang Han and says that he should come here. Did he manage to collect Duanian grass? Jiang Han shows the contents of the backpack and says that he has collected 20 stems with a reserve. They should also look at it. He shows the bamboo and the surprised Lun says that for one such stock you can get several 100,000. Where did he get this from? Jiang Han says that he found it in the boar queen's lair. He collected only about 10 stems and did not have time to pick everything. Dao says she probably uses bamboo to regain her strength. In addition, it grew in her lair and was saturated with her scent. If they take this with them, the boar queen will most likely chase them. Jiang Han asks if she can track them by smell. What should they do? They should get away from here faster. Hu says it's too late. They should look there. The monsters begin to gather around them and the boar queen also came to them. A crowd of monsters was already crowded next to them. Lung says they should take their things and run away, they don't have to worry about him. Hu says he shouldn't do this, he should go back to them. This is after all a king-level boar queen. Lung attacks and says they should get out of here. He jumps up and is about to attack using his energy. The boar queen notices this and pushes him away with a light attack. Jiang Han asks how he feels. Lung asks if he didn't tell them to leave. Do they want to die here altogether? Jiang Han says that they will no longer be able to escape. So why not take advantage of the fact that she is weakened and fight her? Maybe they still have a chance. Hu says he's right, they have to fight these monsters. If they don't win, they will die together. Jiang Han runs to attack the monsters and says that Hu and Dao should deal with the rest of the monsters, and he will take on the queen. He will separate her from the others and deal with her. Hu says it's too dangerous. Suddenly he notices a monster that attacks him. He and the others begin to fight off the monsters that attack them. Jiang Han jumps up and examines the monster. He wonders if the boar queen really has no weak points at all. How is this possible? He dodges the boar queen's attack and lands on the ground next to this huge monster. Lung says that the skin on the boar queen's belly is not protected. She just gave birth, so this is her weak point. Jiang Han says that he understood him. He thinks that the time has come to release the explosive power accumulated in the body all at once. The system notifies that the accumulated explosive power has been successfully used. Combat power has been increased by 5,752, duration 30 minutes. Its current combat strength is 11,679. Jiang Han emits strong energy and says that she must die. Wang, Dao and Hu notice this strong energy and look at him in surprise. They ask, has his fighting strength exceeded 10,000? How is this possible? The system notifies that he killed the beast general of the medium mutation Amazing Tiger. He received 589 experience points. The level of talent proficiency was increased by 147 points. He killed another beast, the general of the medium mutation, the Scarlet Monkey, received 596 experience points and a talent level of 148 points. The boar queen begins her attack with her nose buried in the ground. She raises her head and strikes, but Jiang Han manages to dodge. He stops and prepares to strike with his dagger. He strikes very quickly by running under the boar queen. He left a large scar on the belly of this monster, and he turns around and wonders if she is still alive. In this case, he must strike again. He rushes on the attack and thinks that for him now she is one big weak point. The system notifies you that the level of the critical strike talent has been increased. Critical hit attacks have a 50% chance of causing a critical hit, dealing 6 times the damage. Current talent level 53 points out of 4,000 points. The skill level of 9 Thunder Blades has been increased. 9 Thunder Blades of the second level. When an attack is made with a melee weapon, strength and agility increase fourfold. The current skill level is 16 points out of 4,000. Lung asks, isn't he too strong? Because the Boar Queen was defeated, the rest of the monsters began to run away from the place. The system notifies that he killed a king-level beast, the spiky-maned Boar Queen, received 58,965 experience points. The Insight talent level has been increased by 1. The Critical Strike talent level has been increased by 896. The skill level of 9 Thunder Blades has been increased by 682. Who asked Jiang Han why his combat power has suddenly increased so dramatically. He was even able to kill the Boar Queen. Dao says that the impact force of his dagger now was approximately about 9 tons, which is simply terrifying. Jiang Han thinks that he can't say that it was the system that improved his performance. He says that a friend gave him the 9 Thunder Blades skill to learn, and it turned out that this skill could be combined with his critical strike talent. He didn't think the effect would be so powerful. Lung says that he is just like his father, he amazes people in the same way. Jiang Han asks, does he look like his father? Who agrees and says that before his father disappeared, he asked them to take him to the wasteland when he awakened. Jiang Han asks what else did he say. Lung says he doesn't have to worry, they'll talk about it later. They cannot stay here, they must deal with the queen's corpse and look for a safe place. Sometime later. Who says his father didn't say where he was going before he left. Lung agrees and says that he was just talking about unnecessary things without saying the most important things. Brother Cheng has always been like this. Jiang Han says that he understood them. Who says he doesn't have to worry, his father probably has a plan. Sooner or later they will definitely meet. Dao says he is right, he should believe in his father. Moreover, he is already so strong, he is confident that the day when he will find his father is not so far away. Jiang Han says he hopes they are right. Who hugs him and says that this time they not only completed the task. He obtained 2 corpses of high mutation level beasts and collected black striped bamboo. This is excellent damage. When they return to the steel camp, they will need to immediately exchange all this for alliance coins. Jiang Han agrees and says that he has thought of something else. Who asks, what was he thinking? He says that logically, a queen who had just given birth was supposed to protect her offspring. Why did she rush after them along with the entire herd of animals? Lung says it's really weird. Jiang Han asks if it could be that someone else killed her offspring. This angered her and prompted her to give chase. Who says this is entirely possible. However, they've already gotten rid of it, so it's not that important anymore. Lung says that's enough riddles, they should rest. When they return to the steel camp, they will pay attention to those who will also exchange black striped bamboo, right? Who says he's right. After some time on the exotic materials market, Jiang Han thinks that he couldn't think that those 2 corpses would be so valuable, now he can buy some cool weapons. The system notifies that 11.5 million alliance coins have been credited to his account. He walks into a store and a man tells him, welcome. He can choose anything. Jiang Han examines the sword and the seller says that it is an excellent choice. The name of this blade is Taihan. This sword is made of blue-silver alloy and is 36 times stronger than ordinary steel and can withstand a blow of more than 300 tons. The blade is completely hardened and the handle is entwined with vines so that it does not fall out of your hands. Jiang Han asks how much does it cost. The seller says the price is 7,400,000 alliance coins. He doesn't have time to finish because Jiang Han took the sword and asks, is Taihan able to withstand a blow stronger than 300 tons and still remain unharmed? The seller says it's true. He says he wants to buy it. The seller says that the sword will be delivered to his home later. Will there be any other wishes? On the floor above there are also helmets, breastplates, shoulder pads, leggings, knee pads, shields and other equipment for him to look at. Jiang Han tries on the shoulder pads and the system notifies that he has spent 7,400,000 alliance coins. He continues to try on other equipment and the system notifies that he has spent 1,800,000 alliance coins. He also spent 1,200,000 alliance coins. Jiang Han thinks that he thought that 11.5 million alliance coins were a lot, but in the end, he had already spent almost all of it. He has weapons and equipment, now he just needs to get the certificate of a great warrior. After some time in the Warriors Guild, Jiang Han walks into the building and thinks that he is here again. He never thought that his combat power would increase so quickly. The girl approaches him and says that he must first go to the counter, then take a turn for the test. Jiang Han says that he understands everything. He wonders if the great warrior is really being followed by a general. Then maybe he can take the general test right away. If he becomes a general, he will receive 1,000,000 coins every month, so it is better to take the general test right away. Sometime later, Man asks Jong Han, does he have a C-rank talent? Strong punch. He must have made a mistake. It should say warrior, not general. He must take it back and fill it out again. Jong Han refuses and says that he wrote everything correctly. He will take the test to become a general. The man thinks, are all young people so arrogant now? He says that he must go upstairs to the testing area. Jong Han agrees and follows the man. He goes to the right place and thinks that this area is very large. It seems that it will be more difficult than in the warrior test. He takes out his sword and walks into the middle of the area. Suddenly a huge monster appears in front of him. Jong Han manages to dodge this monster's attack at the last moment. In front of him stands a king-level beast, a fiery lion. Jong Han thinks about the level of the king. He didn't think that in the general test he would have to defeat a beast of this level alone. The lion begins to roar loudly and rushes to the attack, about to strike with its paws. Jong Han uses his insight talent and looks at this monster. Using the 9 Thunder Blades skill, he jumps up and dodges the lion's attack. He lands and thinks that the 9 Thunder Blades skill increases his agility by 4 times, so he can dodge the flame lion's attacks. However, this monster is 4 meters tall and must jump to attack. But he does not have techniques that allow him to take off, and it is impossible to evade in the air. What should he do? The monster jumps high up and is about to attack him. Jong Han slides under the monster and thinks that it must have weak points. If the beast in testing is created artificially, then its weak points will not be on the outside, right? He stops and looks at this monster. He thinks that now he understands everything. Jong Han changes his grip on the sword, rushing to attack. He thinks that if there are no weak points outside, then there will definitely be one inside. He continues to run towards the monster and the lion opens his mouth. Jong Han sees the weak point inside the monster's mouth and thinks that as expected, it is here. He jumps inside the lion's mouth and using the 9 Thunder Blades skill and the critical strike talent, he strikes, flying through the monster. The person who supervised the test congratulates him on passing the exam. Test level A+. Jong Han thinks that the general exam was passed easily. The man tells the chief that an 18-year-old boy has just passed the general exam. The old lady asks, was anyone able to pass on the general at the age of 18? What is the talent rank of this young talent? The man says he has a C rank. The head is surprised and asks, was a person with a C rank talent able to pass the test to become a general? The man says that's right, his name is Jong Han. Sometime later, the head of the guild is walking through the city. Jong Han carries the pan and thinks that he has spent a lot of energy. He needs to recover. The head of the guild comes to him and is going to say something to this young man. Jong Han apologizes to the old lady and says that they are closed now. The head goes to the table and tells this young man that she is hungry. Would he share some porridge with her? Jong Han says she can sit down, he will bring her a plate. Sometime later, the head eats what was brought to her. She says the wild boar tenderloin paired with the rice porridge was wonderful. Such a familiar taste, she hasn't tried this for a long time. She is grateful to him for the food. Jong Han says she doesn't need to thank him. He will be here in the next few days, so if she wants to eat, she can come every morning. The head says that the porridge is delicious and he is a good person. She is grateful to him, and she must go. Jong Han wishes her well. The head leaves the restaurant and passes by Hu and Long. Jong Han asks what brought them here. What do you know about black striped bamboo? Hu asks why did that old lady come? Jong Han says that she just came, ate porridge and left. Long says there will be an auction tonight at the exotic materials market. This bamboo is on the product list. Jong Han is surprised and asks, is this true? Then they should go there together. Hu comes to the table and asks what kind of porridge is this? It smells very fragrant, he wants to eat it too. Wang says he wants to eat too. A man comes to them and apologizes and asks who is Mr. Jong Han here. He brought the goods that he bought yesterday. Jong Han goes to him and says that it is him. Lung asks what did he buy. Jong Han took the container and left. He placed the container on the table and opened it. They saw what he bought and were surprised at it. He takes his sword out of its sheath. Hu says it's a great blade. Wang asks, this must be an expensive sword, right? Jong Han is embarrassed and says that it costs 7 million alliance coins. After some time at the auction took place in a large and luxurious hall. Hu says it looks like this time the auction is special. Wang agrees and says that usually auctions are not held in such places, and so many warriors of Wu level do not come here. A woman comes on stage and says into the microphone to dear guests that the first lot is the armor of the god of war Zhu Xin, left after his death. This girl is the auction organizer Tang Yun. She says that as befits Zhu Xin's armor, this armor has reached the 6th level of protection. However, since in the last battle he was hit beyond his defense level, the inner spirit device was destroyed, causing the defense level to drop by 1 level. Starting price is 10 million. Bidding begins. Hu says that the god of war Zhu Xin is an incredible person. His armor is definitely very good. Wang agrees and says that he once received instructions from him. Jiang Han is surprised that this person was at the level of the god of war, and this is a level higher than Woohoo. The man says that some ordinary damaged armor is worth as much as 10 million. Another person says that someone might want to buy this for their collection. Who says that for some reason it seems to him that this armor will suit him very well. Jiang Han says that this would really suit him, but the price is too high. He bought Taehun and now he only had 1 million left. Lung says that he doesn't have to worry about money, there is someone who will sort it out. Who picks up the sign and bets 11 million. Tang Yun says that's great, this guest is offering 11 million. Jiang Han asks, did he say that someone will sort it out? In what sense? Tang Yun begins the countdown. Who says that although the protection level of this armor has dropped, it is still a high quality armor. Furthermore, its own characteristics already make it extremely rare. He just needs good armor. Tang Yun says that the armor sold for 11 million. Who says that level 5 armor is rare, but if you have money, you can get it. However, the advantage of this armor is that it can change shape. He can use it as a shield, or he can turn it into a vest and wear it on his body. Jiang Han thanks him for this. Lun tells him that such armor should even be able to handle an attack from an overlord level beast. Tang Yun says their next lot is 30 black striped bamboo shoots. Jiang Han says that this is the black striped bamboo he was talking about. It is exactly the same as the one he collected. Who asks if he was right. Did someone really do this behind their backs? The man says he bets 24,800,000. This bamboo will belong to him. He hopes they will show respect. He has organized the development of a batch of panacea, and the only thing missing is black striped bamboo. Jiang Han says that it's surprising that 30 sprouts cost so much. Long says that it is not the same as armor. Black striped bamboo is a very valuable medicine and extremely rare, which is why it is in such demand. Who says that Lai Kaishan's Woohoo has awakened the S-rank talent shaking earth? Evan, he is here. The girl says that she bets 28 million. Her disciple needs bamboo to restore his combat power. Will he give it up to her? Lung says it's another ear. Langan is Mizuki's first teacher. Jiang Han asks, is this woman Mizuki's first teacher? Long says that it is true. Mizuki University is the university where all warriors want to study, and Langan is a famous teacher at this university. Jiang Han remembers what Jiang Jiyu did. Lai Kaishan says that he would give the bamboo to her, but he also really needs a batch of medicine now. Lingen asks, then how about this? She needs a lot of bamboo, 10 shoots will be enough, and he can take the remaining 20, what will he say? Lai Kaishan says he agrees to this. Lingen says that then she bets 20 million and she takes it away. Tang Yun says that if no one bids, then these 30 black striped bamboo shoots will go to Master Lingen for 28 million. Who says that anyone who bids now will openly oppose Mizuki University. Long says 30 bamboo shoots sold for 28 million. If this continues, the proceeds from this auction will be in the billions. Jiang Han thinks that the head of this auction probably knows the person who sold the black striped bamboo. He leaves and Hu asks where is he going. Jiang Han says that he wants to go to the restroom. Sometime later, he passes the sign and goes up to the floor. The guard says that the top floor is a private area and he cannot enter here. Jiang Han says that he has one very valuable thing and would like to see their boss. The guards apologize and say that no matter how valuable his item is, their boss does not accept anyone. These are the rules of the auction. Jiang Han leaves and says that he understands everything. He thinks it looks like he needs to come up with another way. After some time on the street, Hu says that the armor from the auction will be delivered to his home. Jiang Han says it's just a pity that they didn't find out who sold the bamboo. Loon says that customer information is most likely confidential. He will still think about how they can find out. Jiang Han tells them that when the new armor arrives, he wants to go out into the wasteland on his own. They are surprised and at the same time ask, does he want to get out into the wasteland on his own? Jiang Han agrees and says that Hu was right, he needs to sort out some issues himself, but it's too early to create a squad. So he plans to go into the wasteland alone to practice. Lun asks, has he gone completely crazy? It's too dangerous to go into the wasteland alone. Hu calms him down and tells him that he should be quiet. If he's thought it through, they might just let him go. Jiang Han says that he learned a lot from the last outing. Besides, if he does not go far into the wasteland, no problems should arise. Hu says that in the wasteland he must remember one thing, survival is the most important thing. Jiang Han says he will remember this. 2 days later, he thinks that in order to raise the level, it is better to find a place where there will be more general level beasts. According to the map, zone number 157 is the closest, so that's where he'll go. Sometime later in zone number 157, Jiang Han notices the 2 wolves and realizes that they are both general level. He will destroy them both at once. He charges and draws his sword as he leaps high into the air. He strikes and defeats one of the monsters. He strikes again and defeats the second wolf. Jiang Han stands next to the corpses of the monsters and sheathes his sword. He notices a little tiger cub standing next to him. He says that it turns out that these wolves wanted to eat him. This kid needs to get out of here quickly. Surviving in the wasteland is also not an easy task. Jiang Han leaves and thinks that the experience and materials of the generals are not bad, but the beasts at a lower level are no longer anything. In the system window it is written that his name is Jiang Han, combat power 12,753, level 8, strength 234 points, agility 221 points, physique 230 points, intelligence 229. There are no stat points available. Experience to the next level 15,689 out of 64,000 experience. Talents, rank A Insight level 2, rank B, critical strike level 4. Insight is activated upon entering battle and reveals the enemy's weak points. Critical hit, attacks have a 60% chance of causing a critical hit, dealing 6 times damage. Current level of talent proficiency, Insight 1,225 points out of 3,000 points, critical strike 1,568 points out of 2,000 points. There are no free slots for talents. Skills, Earth class skill, 9 Thunderblades. When an attack with a melee weapon is made, strength and agility increase 4 times. Current skill level, 9 second level Thunderblades, 1,836 points out of 4,000 points. There are no items available. 185 out of 1,000 storage spaces are occupied. The current task is to destroy 1,000 beasts. There is no accumulated explosive power. Jiang Han thinks that his combat power has reached 12,700, the confident level of a general, and the 4 characteristics are already more than 200 points. He needs to continue. Sometime later at night, Jiang Han sits by the fire and thinks that the meat of the 2-headed deer is really delicious. No wonder it is so expensive. 1 kilogram can be sold for 3,000 alliance coins. Someone asks Sun Bin how far they still have to go. What about his perception skills? Someone tells the boss not to worry, they are almost there. Jiang Han wonders who it is. He looks out from behind the stone and watches the people next to him. Lai Yang asks if this is the gold mine he was talking about. The other man says there can be no mistake. Lai Yan says that last time they got black striped bamboo, this time mountain gold, they will be rich again. Jiang Han wonders, were they talking about bamboo? Was it really them? Mountain gold is a very expensive ore that appeared only after the disaster. The men go inside and Lai Yang says that they should be quiet and take their time. This mine has been abandoned for a very long time. There may be high-level beasts here. The man tells the boss that he shouldn't scare them like that. Lai Yan says that he is not scaring them. Usually, next to high-level materials, there are animals with a high degree of mutation with corresponding characteristics. If there really is mountain gold here, then there must also be a guard beast, at least at the level of a king. The guy asks, is it king level again? How can they then be? Lai Yang says that there is nothing to be afraid of. This time he did not come empty-handed. The guy asks what he means. The boss should look there is a golden light. Lai Yan says that they should go, because it is definitely ahead. They come to the place they noticed and see a larger amount of ore. Lai Yan approaches the pile of ore and says that this is real mountain gold and they are now rich. The guy says that his talent of perception has never failed him. Suddenly a drop falls on the tip of his nose and he raises his head to see what happened. Standing above them was a golden-eyed, king-level saber-toothed tiger. Lai Yan says that this monster has the level of a king. A saber-toothed tiger jumps on them and they begin to scatter. The guy tells the boss that this is a king-level saber-toothed tiger, it will be better if they run away from here. Jiang Han watches them and thinks that this is a king-level beast again. The fighting power of this tiger is at least 500,000, which is even higher than that of the boar queen. Wai Yang says they should stop being afraid. They need to distract the monster first. He brought a laser gun especially for this occasion. They all stand together and look at the tiger. The guy with the mohawk pushes the bald guy towards the tiger and says he should try to be first. The tiger immediately pinned the guy to the ground with his paw and he called for help. The guy with the mohawk runs away and tells the boss that he needs to shoot faster. The boss must hurry up. Lai Yang says he should stop shouting. He takes aim with his weapon. The tiger eats the guy he was holding with his paw and Lai Yang says he can rest in peace. He pulls the trigger of his weapon. There is a powerful shot of energy and he says that he will take the gold for this guy. His shot hits the monster, but does not cause any damage, but only angers the tiger. A saber-toothed tiger attacks him and he drops his weapon. The guy with the mohawk looks in horror at what is happening here. Lai Yang loudly tells him that he must quickly charge his weapon and kill this monster. The guy takes the weapon and agrees with him. The guy loads the weapon and calls the boss. He aims his gun and says that he too can rest in peace. Lai Yan is surprised and asks what is he saying. The crazy-looking guy says that the mountain gold is a valuable thing, and he will collect it instead. The monster begins to eat Lai Yang and this makes him scream in pain. The guy points his weapon at the monster and wishes the boss a good trip. He looks into the scope and says that the monster must try the power of this laser gun. He fires a shot and pierces the monster through. Jiang Han looks at this and thinks that the charged shot from this cannon is frighteningly powerful. While he's recharging, he'll get rid of it in one hit. The guy loads the gun and raises his head and asks who is here. Jiang Han runs very quickly next to him and strikes with his sword. He says that he is too cruel, because he killed both the beast and his comrades. The guy asks, is this him? So he didn't die. Jiang Han goes to him and says that it turns out that it is true that they angered the boar queen that day. The guy says that they are incredibly lucky since the boar queen didn't kill them. However, isn't he a warrior? How did he become a general? Jiang Han swings his sword and says that good is rewarded with good and evil with evil. Sooner or later you have to take responsibility for your actions. He strikes very quickly with his sword and scornfully tells this freak that he has destroyed himself. Suddenly he strongly feels the presence of a monster behind him. He turns around and wonders if the saber-toothed tiger really died. Jiang Han takes a stance and closely monitors the monster's actions. The tiger strikes with his paw, but he manages to jump and avoids this blow. In the air, he changes his grip on his sword, preparing to attack. Plunging his sword into the back of the monster, he thinks that he will not believe that the skin of this monster is so durable. The saber-toothed tiger suddenly jumps up, trying to throw him off his back. Jiang Han holds onto his sword and asks if this monster really wanted to get rid of him. He won't be able to do it that quickly. The saber-toothed tiger rushes deeper into the cave, destroying the wooden supports. The monster rushes through a large mine and Jiang Han, holding onto his sword, notices that there is a lot of gold ore here. Does the monster really want to absorb the power of this ore? He sees a light that appears at the end of the cave and realizes that he cannot allow this monster to do this. If it really is a metal beast, then by absorbing the power of gold ore, it will not only heal from its wounds, but also increase its strength, and then it will have a hard time. He begins to emit energy similar to electricity and says that he must put all his strength into one blow. He uses the skill 9 Thunder Blades and the talent Critical Strike is triggered. After such a strong blow, Jiang Han is thrown into a stone wall. The monster died and fell next to him, and he stood up, holding his shoulder because of the pain. The system notifies that he killed a beast with a high degree of mutation, a king-level golden-eyed saber-toothed tiger, and received 124,572 experience points. The level of proficiency in the Insight talent increased by 1. The level of proficiency in the skill 9 Thunder Blades increased by 1,682 points. The level has been increased. He reached the 10th level and the beginner stage was completed. He unlocked the pet module and the task module. Jiang Han thinks that the system is behaving crazy. He received a series of promotions. By the way, what kind of pet module is this? His shoulder was badly injured and his ribs appeared to be broken. He needs to heal his wounds first. In the system window it is written that his name is Jiang Han, combat power 23,485, level 10, strength 287, agility 275, physique 283, intelligence 281. Experience to the next level 142 out of 256,000. Talents, a rank Insight level 3, rank B Critical Strike maximum level. Current talent level, Insight 356 out of 6,000, maximum level Critical Strike. Skills, Earth class skill 9 Thunder Blades level 3. Current skill level is 3,210 out of 8,000. There are no available items, 527 out of 1,000 storage space is occupied. Current task, destroy 1,000 beasts, 532 out of 1,000. You can bind one pet. Jiang Han thinks that fortunately his level has improved. He must quickly collect the ore and take it with the tiger to the steel camp. He hears a sound that attracts his attention. He grabs the sword and says that there are still animals left. He notices the little tiger and says that it is him again. Jiang Han takes his hand and asks if he wants this. He throws the ore and the tiger jumps up to catch it. He caught a piece of ore and ate it. The system asks if he wants to establish an owner-pet relationship with a golden-eyed white tiger. Jiang Han wonders, this is how you get a pet. This little guy is pretty cute, so he doesn't mind giving it a try. The system notifies that the relationship has been established successfully. He received a pet golden-eyed white tiger. In the system window it is written that Xiao buys pet, a type of golden-eyed white tiger, level 1 is 632 experience points out of 1,000. Combat strength 1,253. Wonderful talent, metal melting gaze is not activated. The look melts the metal during activation. The pupil on the forehead emits high temperature rays that can soften the metal. Growth potential. Jiang Han thinks that he didn't know that he had growth potential A, and he also has a wonderful talent. But now he needs to collect the ore and deal with the corpse. He will return to the steel camp, recover and then think about it. After some time in a steel camp, a field hospital, the nurse bandages Jiang Han's shoulder and says that he will recover very quickly. She looks at the tiger and asks is this his pet. This is her first time seeing such a cutie. He agrees and says his name is Xiao Bai. The nurse says that she has already treated his wounds, but it is better for him to remain on bed rest for a few days. Jiang Han thanks her and says that he understood her. But first he needs to go to the exotic materials market to sell the spoils from this foray. The nurse looks at him and says that everyone who goes to the wasteland does not value their life at all. After some time, at the exotic materials exchange, Jiang Han walks inside the building and asks if Boss Hua is there. He came to sell something. The man recognizes him and asks if he was in the heath again. What did he bring this time? Jiang Han greets him and says that he brought the beast's corpse again. He can take a look at it. He raises his hand and his ring begins to glow. O summons the body of the beast and Hua asks with great surprise, is this a king-level golden-eyed saber-toothed tiger? He is a warrior, but was he able to defeat a beast of this level? He must have a very strong team. Jiang Han says that actually he is already a general. Hua is surprised and says that last time he was a warrior. Only a few days have passed and he is already a general. Jiang Han asks, approximately how much is this corpse worth? Hua says he doesn't have to worry. He'll give him a good price. The corpse of this tiger is perfect except for a single fatal wound. He will give 8 million for it. Jiang Han turns around and says that's great. He's grateful to him for this, in which case he'll go. Hua says he should wait a minute. He has one more thing to do. Jiang Han turns around and asks, what else is it? Hua says that he knows that golden eyes can only be found near gold veins. If you meet this monster, you can also find mountain gold. Can he ask about this ore? Jiang Han says that he is really well informed, but he had no intention of selling the mountain gold just yet. Hua is surprised and asks if he really has it. He realized that selling mountain gold to him was really too small, but if he decides to sell it, he will contact his boss so they can meet in person. Jiang Han says that he misunderstood him, but if he really wants to buy it, then he can. Hua didn't listen to him and says it's great. He must go after him. They go up to the second floor and enter a room with scales. Jiang Han walks inside and sees Tang Yun and asks, is this her? She greets him and says that she heard that he wants to sell the mountain gold. She is the highest authority on this exchange and she would like to buy all the gold that he has. Some time later, Jiang Han looks at his card and thinks that it turns out that gold is really expensive. He earned more than 90 million very quickly. It will be better if he goes through the alleys because he doesn't need unnecessary problems now. Suddenly windows appear in front of him in which it is written that the task of 1,000 kills has been completed. The reward is an additional slot for talent. The third stage of the task of destroying enemies begins. 10,000 kills. He must destroy 10,000 beasts. Jiang Han is surprised and wonders, did he get an extra slot? That is, he can awaken the third talent. Did he get the awakening stone? He can do it right now. The stone begins to emit very strong energy and he wonders what it is. The system notifies you that energy that prevents awakening has been detected. This energy was absorbed and stored. Jiang Han starts screaming because of the pain. The system notifies that the awakening of the talent is completed. He received the S-rank talent, Rolling Thunder. Jiang Han is surprised that he received an S-rank talent. It was very powerful. Is it really because he just awakened and he doesn't have enough control over the new talent yet? It was very painful. The system notifies that his name is Jiang Han, combat power 33,465 points, level 10, strength 295, agility 281, physique 286, intelligence 354, experience to the next level 56,321 out of 256. Talents, rank S first level Rolling Thunder, rank a third level Insight, rank B maximum level Critical Strike. Clap of Thunder increases the degree of affinity with the element of thunder, allowing you to use Clap of Thunder as a method of attack. Current level of talent proficiency, Thunderclap 1 out of 10,000, Insight 556 out of 6,000, maximum level Critical Strike. Skills, Earth Class Skill 9 Thunder Blades level 3. The current level of Skill 9 Thunder Blades of the third level is 5,310 out of 8,000. There are no items available. Storage space occupied is 527 out of 1,000. The current task is 10,000 kills, 7 out of 10,000. Zio buys pets. The accumulated explosive power is 52,364. Jiang Han is surprised and wonders, his combat power is already more than 30,000. He needs to quickly figure out how to control the thunder. He tells Zio Bai that he should climb back in because they are returning home. He leaves and thinks that although the new S-rank talent is very powerful, it is too difficult to control. The exam is starting soon. It would be great to have a teacher to guide him. 3 days later, the students say it would be great if he could go to Mizuki. This is the best university for warriors. With his combat power, it is better not to create illusions. He is not particularly gifted, so he would rather go to Jingda University. Entering there is also a great achievement, because Jingda is the first university in the humanities. Chang Hao tells Jiang Han that he shouldn't worry so much. He has agreed with his father. He will apply for pharmaceutical business in Jingda, and after graduation he will get a job in their company. With his academic performance, getting there is not a problem. Jiang Han says that he has not decided yet. Chang Hao asks what's wrong with him. Maybe he should tell his father to give him some of the shares. Jiang Han says that it's not about money, he just wants to go to a university for warriors. Chang Hao is surprised and asks, does he want to go to a university for warriors? With his fighting strength, where can he go? Jiang Han notices Lai Chengyang and asks why he is here. Chang Hao asks if he knows him. Maybe he is conducting a combat exam. Jiang Han says that this is unlikely to be the case. He thinks Woohoo with such a level shouldn't take exams, right? In the office they sit at a large table. The masked man tells Su Lao that he himself understands what situation they are in now. The program for the new combat exam is in front of him. The people above have already approved everything, so there is no need to put him in a difficult position. Su Lao says that the reform of the combat exam is their business and has nothing to do with her. But what she knows is that all the examinees are just children. Most of them don't even have 1,000 combat power, and they want to send them to the wasteland for an exam. This is the same as sending them to certain death. The man says that the number of mutated animals in the wasteland continues to increase. She herself understands how serious it is. What will happen when doomsday level beasts appear? No one can protect these children forever. Su Lao tells this idiot that when he was young, they protected him. The man kneels and says that he will always remember her kindness, but it must be done. She can stop him, but she cannot stop the determination of an entire state. The exam venue will be set up in the wasteland. This has already been decided. But he and his comrades will do everything possible to minimize casualties. Su Lao gets up and says that she is no longer young, and besides, the world has changed. She leaves and says that she leaves this world to them. They can do as they please. The masked man thanks her for this and says that Lai Qingyang should take over several schools in Lanchi. Lai Qingyang tells the captain that he has understood him. He wanted to talk to him about something. All the people leave and they are left alone. He tells and the man asks in surprise, did he meet Cheng's son in the wasteland? Lai Qingyang agrees and says that he is not sure but does not think he is wrong. The captain says it's great. Since he found his son, he must be alert and watch from the shadows. Some time later, a crowd of students stands in front of the stage. Jiang Han says that perhaps he was right. He's really here because of the exam. Chang Hao asks, what's the big deal? Lai Qingyang steps up to the microphone and greets the students. He says his name and says that he is the chief examiner of this combat exam. This year's exam will be different from previous ones. In accordance with the government's reform of the way combat power is tested in exams, from this year the combat exam assessing combat power will be conducted under real battle conditions. All examinees will go into the wasteland and fight mutated beasts to pass the assessment. The students are surprised and ask why they need to go to the wasteland. It's very dangerous there, isn't it better to conduct the exam here? Why was this reform adopted? They don't want to go to the wasteland because there are a lot of animals there, they are sent to their death. Why was this reform adopted now and so quickly? Chang Hao asks should they go to the wasteland. The exam will take place in the wasteland. Jiang Han thinks that something tells him that everything is not so simple. Something will have to happen. Lai Qingyang says that if they want to enter the military school, they must first meet the mutated beasts and fight them bravely. If they do not have the courage for this battle, then they are not worthy of a military university and the title of warrior. The choice is theirs. Those wishing to take part in the examination must remain, while others may leave. The students begin to leave and say that they will not go because their lives are more valuable to them. They were actually going to enter a humanitarian university, but they wouldn't last even a day in the wasteland. Jiang Han asks, what does he think? Should I call his father? Chang Hao says that he can forget about it. If he calls, they will definitely not let him go. Jiang Han asks, has he already made up his mind? Chang Hao asks, what else does he have left? With his strength, most likely, he won't even have time to take 2 steps before some animal eats him. He will have to protect him. Jiang Han thanks him for his concern. Chang Hao says he shouldn't thank him. Lai Qingyang says that everyone who decides to stay and take the exam has 15 minutes to prepare. In 15 minutes a special train will be waiting in front of the school gates, which will take them straight to the wasteland. Those who have already regretted their decision still have 15 minutes to change their mind. Some time later, the train went beyond the city limits and Lai Qingyang spoke that in about 3 hours they will be at the exam site. Now he will tell them about the rules of the exam. Within the next week they will be on the examination field. They need to independently divide into teams of a maximum of 5 people. In such teams they will fight the animals. The corpses of animals can be marked and they will receive points for the marks. The number of points depends on the level of the killed animal. Based on the points received, the final rating will be compiled. The team with the highest score will be admitted to Mizuki University. Students ask, that is, they will participate in a team of 5 people. It turns out that you can find 4 strong men and do nothing. His combat power is 960 points, B rank stone skin talent, he can restrain the enemy and fight, wants to assemble a team of members with a combat power of about 1,000 points. Can he join Wang Gran's team? He promises to protect him because his combat power is 1,100 points. Jiang Han thinks that with his combat power, he can do without a team, he will be more comfortable with him alone. Chang Hao says that he doesn't have to worry, he will go and look for 3 more guys. Jiang Han wants to tell him something, but he doesn't listen to him and says that he can calm down, he will deal with it. Sometime later, people get off the train and the teacher says that entry-level animal soldiers are worth 10 points, middle-level animal soldiers are worth 15 points, high-level soldiers are worth 20 points. Animal generals of initial, middle, and high levels are valued at 100, 200, and 300 points. The team that defeats the king-level beast will immediately receive the right to enter Mizuki. The simplest way to pass the combat college is 500 points. By killing 25 high-level soldiers, a person will only get close to the threshold of joining Mizuki. For members with roughly 1,000 points in combat power, it is really not easy. The guy gets off the train and says that they should go there to get a position for the attack. The guy following him agrees with this. Chang Hao says that the week has just begun and they shouldn't rush. First, they will look for a place from which they can study the situation. He points his finger and says they will go there. Lai Qingyang looks at Zhang Han and thinks that he can't wait for brother Cheng's son to succeed. After some time under a large tree, Chang Hao's team sits next to each other. Zhang Han thinks that the combat power of these three is about 800, the team's strength is slightly above average. There shouldn't be any problems getting into a first-tier university, but how can he help them without giving himself away? Chang Hao stands up and says that since the team is created, then most likely they need to choose a captain. He suggests to Zhang Han. The guy says he's against it. If he remembers everything correctly, then he awakened a C-rank talent with a strong blow, right? Now his combat power is maximum 400 points, right? Chang Hao says that although he has little combat power, he knows how to think clearly. For the captain, the most important thing is intelligence, the ability to analyze the situation and command when to attack and when to retreat. The guy says that he will still stick to his opinion so he can ask the others. Zhang Han looks at the map and says that it seems to him that captain is just a title, they should discuss any problem together. He has one thought they should listen to. Animals have different combat power and the points given for them are also different. With their combat power, they can only defeat low-level soldiers. He looked at the map and made a route that had the most low-level beasts, which would best suit their team. The guy says that he agrees, there are really a lot of low-level animals here, this is the safest way. Chang Hao says that he also agrees with this. Zhang Han says that if everyone is in favor, then they will follow this route. They must now line up according to their fighting strength. Chang Hao has awakened a talent of enormous strength. He also has weapons and armor of a relatively high level. He will be the main attacker. Zhao Gang has awakened the hardening talent, so he will be the second attacker. Zhu Fan, Wang Ran and him in support will act according to the situation. What do they think? 3 students say it's a great plan. Chang Hao says that he told them that they should choose him as captain. Sometime later, Chang Hao says that this route is really good. They have been walking for so long, but they have not met other participants yet. Zhang Han stops and says that they should be quieter because there is something ahead. He notices the monster and says they should be careful. A rhinoceros runs towards them very quickly. Chang Hao runs forward and says that this is some kind of rhinoceros with a combat power of 800 points. He can handle it easily. Zhang Han says he has to stop. The rhino strikes and throws him high into the air. Zhang Han says that Chang Hao should not attack at the same time as Zhao Gang. They should distract him in turns. The rhino's ram is very strong. Zhao Gang must restrain him and not let him run away. Wang Ran shouldn't just stand there. He must increase Zhao Gang's strength. The students agree with him and say that they understand. Sometime later, Chang Hao swings his sword and runs to attack. He plunges his sword into the neck of the rhinoceros. He sits on the ground and joyfully says that they have won. Wang Ran says it was very exciting. The heath is truly an unusual place. Zhang Han runs towards them and asks if everything is okay. Zhao Gang agrees and says they are fine. His uncle said that if he wanted to become a warrior, then he should not be afraid of wounds, and even more so he should not be afraid of death. Chang Hao says that he tried hard and didn't get confused. Zhang Han says they need to make a note to start getting points. The power of this rhinoceros is about 800 points, the combat power of each of them is about the same. It will be great if they deal with such monsters in 2 waves of attacks maximum. Chang Hao says that they don't have enough experience for this. Zhang Han says that he is right, so from now on they should pay attention to teamwork. He awakened a talent of enormous strength. As the main attacker, he must choose the right moment to attack and not hit without stopping, because this is a waste of energy. Zhao Gang, even if he can hold the damage, he also needs to dodge, otherwise one day he will not survive the attack, no matter how strong his defense is. Wang Ran, although his aura only provides 1 boost, it is instant. He must pay attention and distribute the buff to both attackers in turn. And lastly, Zhu Fan, next time she should be more careful before hitting, because she just almost hit her comrade. Everyone agrees with him. Zhang Han thinks that it seems that being a captain is not easy. Sometime later, they all walk through the forest together. Chang Hao asks, has he never been to the wasteland before? He has the feeling that he is much more experienced than them. Zhang Han stops him and says that he should be careful. 3 toothy rats are running towards them. Everyone must prepare. 3 students run to the attack and say that he understood him. Zhao Gang is the first to encounter the monster. Chang Hao defeats his opponent with a blow of his sword and laughs. Jiang Han says it was a good hit. They must continue in the same spirit. Sometime later, he says they can rest for a while. Several battles in a row have probably exhausted them, so they need to eat. Everyone agrees with him. They sit on the ground and start eating. They all receive a notification from the system. Chang Hao is surprised and asks, do the first 3 teams already have more than 500 points? They only have 76. It is written in the system window that their team number is 1831.76, current place 2584. Wang Ran asks, the passing score in Mizuki is 1000 points and they have already scored more than 500 points, what kind of teams are they? Zhao Gang says that they are in 2584th place. This is a huge difference. Jiang Han thinks that they are faster than he expected, but this is not a problem because on the 3rd day they will be first. Chang Hao asks why he is so calm. Jiang Han says that it is the difference in strength. There is no point in worrying. He gets up and gets ready to go somewhere. Chang Hao asks where is he going to go. Jiang Han says that they can rest for now and he will go and look for something tasty. You can only fight normally if you are well fed. Sometime later, someone says that this is very tasty venison. This is the first time he has eaten such delicious meat. Wang Ran agrees and tells the captain that it is indeed very tasty. Chang Hao laughs and says that as expected, he is an excellent cook. By the way, where did he get this olena? Jiang Han says that he was just walking around and hunting at the same time. Suddenly a bright projectile rises into the air. Zhu Fang notices this and says that they should look at it. What it is. Jiang Han notices this and says that this is the attack of the 2nd level beasts. Zhao Gang asks what does the attack of the 2nd level beasts mean. My uncle said that during the last such offensive, even the defense line in the steel camp was damaged. This can't be true, right? Jiang Han says that since the offensive has begun, it means there is a king level beast nearby. They must return to the steel camp quickly. Sometime later, someone asks, has there been an attack by level 2 beasts? The guy says that's exactly how it is. The 2nd level offensive began right in the area where they are conducting the exam and it continues to grow. His unit will arrive in 5 minutes. He asks to contact the examinee as quickly as possible and tell them to back off. Lai Qingyang says that this is indeed a problem. They must quickly issue a warning for all participants to immediately retreat to the steel camp. They need to do this as quickly as possible. Delays are unacceptable. Someone says that this is an emergency message to all exam participants. They must immediately retreat behind the line of defense. The attack of the 2nd level beasts has begun. Everyone must immediately retreat to the steel camp. The guy runs away from a crowd of monsters and calls for help. Wang Ran says it's terrible. What should they do? Jiang Han says they should stop talking and just run. Unexpectedly, Wang Ran and Chang Hao were injured due to a strong blow. Jiang Han and Zhao Gang stopped and called them. Zhu Fang continues to run away and says that they must forgive her. She cannot save them. She can only save her own life. Zhao Gang says that she only cares about her own life. He runs to them and says that he will help them. Wang Ran loudly says that he should quickly run away and abandon them. He will have to remember to avenge him. It's all because of him. Zhao Gang extends his hand to them and says that if they do not win, they will die together. Lightning suddenly strikes between them and the monsters. Chang Hao is surprised to see Jiang Han standing between them and the monsters to protect them. Jiang Han takes out his sword emitting electrical energy and says that they should quickly leave here. This is not a fight they can fight. His entire body is covered in electrical energy. Chang Hao calls him and they all look at what is happening together in shock. Jiang Han very quickly heads towards the monster army. He runs past several monsters with great speed and defeats them all with one blow. Chang Hao is surprised and asks, is he really Jiang Han? Isn't he a C rank? Jiang Han asks why they are standing still. They must run away as quickly as possible. Chang Hao says that he will not leave. If he runs, then everyone will run together. Jiang Han says that he can't talk like that. If he dies, he won't take his corpse. They must run away. Zhao Gang grabs his hand and says that they should leave. He killed 3 generals with one blow. They will not help him here. Chang Hao agrees and says that they will wait for him at the steel camp. Jiang Han watches them run away and thinks that he can finally kill animals freely. They can attack him. He is attacked by several monsters, which he defeats with his sword. He strikes with his sword and defeats the monster that was about to attack him. He stands in the middle of a crowd of monsters that attack him and, to attract attention, says that they should all come here. Jiang Han releases multiple bolts of lightning that strike the monsters approaching him. The system notifies that he has killed an entry-level general beast, a tricolor monkey. Gained 458 experience. The level of proficiency in the Rolling Thunder talent increased by 89 points. The level of proficiency in the skill 9 Thunder Blades increased by 99 points. He killed an entry-level general beast, a wolf. Gained 429 experience. The level of proficiency in the talent of Rolling Thunder was increased by 82 points. The level of proficiency in the skill 9 Thunder Blades was increased by 93 points. He killed a mid-level general's beast. The Flame Tiger, 682 experience gain. The level of proficiency in the talent Rolling Thunder increased by 124 points. The level of proficiency in the skill 9 Thunder Blades increased by 165 points. Sometime later, the guard at the gate to the steel camp says that everyone should quickly get inside, because in 5 minutes the entrances will be closed. Chang Hao asks if they will really close all the entrances in 5 minutes, but his comrade has not yet returned. Wang Ran says that he is right, their captain Zhang Han saved them and has not returned yet. The guard says that they should quickly go behind the line of defense and they should not stand here. They will do whatever it takes to get their friend back. Chang Hao runs away and says that he must go back and save him. Wei Qingyang asks if they are on the same team as Zhang Han. Chang Hao agrees and says that he got into a battle with a herd of beasts. In order to save them, he must help him quickly. Wei Qingyang listened to him and immediately rushed towards Zhang Han with great speed. He thinks that brother Cheng's son cannot die. At the same time, Zhang Han fights against a mid-level general beast, the Wasteland Bear. He strikes with his sword and strikes the monster with very strong lightning. The system notifies that he killed a beast of a mid-level general, a Wasteland Bear. 675 experience gain. The level of proficiency in the talent Rolling Thunder increased by 124 points. The level of proficiency in the skill 9 Thunder Blades increased by 165 points. Zhang Han turns around and wonders, has a king-level beast already arrived? A king-level beast of medium mutation? The mountain-moving bear king runs towards him and holds a large tree in his paw. Zhang Han is surprised and wonders, isn't this monster too big? The bear strikes with his paw, but he manages to jump to the side and dodge this attack. He releases a ball of electrical energy and says he should try it. A ball of electrical energy flies into the face of a huge monster. This attack did not damage the monster and Zhang Han wonders if this monster really has such high resistance. He jumps back and thinks that his defense is higher than that saber-toothed tiger, so it won't be easy. In extreme cases, it will be possible to release the accumulated energy. He notices something and is surprised by it. The bear attacks him with a huge tree that he held in his paw. Zhang Han dodges this attack and thinks that if he was hit, he would only be left with a wet spot. He says that the system must release the stored energy. The system notifies that energy is being released, its 4 characteristics increase. His entire body begins to radiate very strong energy. Zhang Han rushes forward and says that this monster must die. He strikes the monster's body with his sword, jumping next to it. He releases a ball of electricity and says that it simply can't be that strong. The ball explodes with enormous force when it collides with the monster's body. The bear withstood this incredibly strong attack and was able to stay on his feet. Zhang Han watches the bear intently while a crowd of animals stands behind him. The bear looked at him and turned around and began to run away. Zhang Han chuckled and asked, is he running away now? He had already used the accumulated energy and he was about to escape. He releases an electric ball and says that he will see how he does it. At the same time, Wei Qingyang jumps out from behind the trees at high speed. He looks around the area and wonders where Zhang Han is. Over the communication, someone tells him that instructions from higher-ups have been received. He is ordered to immediately return to the defense line. They need to provide support. Wei Qingyang gets angry and thinks, it looks like he won't be able to stay here. He notices very strong lightning strikes not far from him, and while levitating he thinks that this is a very violent force. This is definitely a king-level beast. It rushes very quickly to where the lightning strikes were. Zhang Han chases the bear and, releasing many electric balls, asks where he is running. The bear fell and he asks what happened. He can't run anymore. The system notifies that he has killed a mid-level king beast, the bear king who moves mountains. 48,923 experience was gained. The level of proficiency in the thunderclap talent was increased by 965 points. Qingyang found Han near the corpse of the beast and Han, noticing him, shouted his name. Qingyang looked around and thought that most of the beast generals had been killed in one blow. Lord-level beasts were hit by the destructive power of thunder. This could only be achieved by suppressing them with a huge difference in levels. He asked, is this all his business? Han jumped off the monster's corpse and confirmed his words, saying that he was cornered by the Bear King, so he used a power-up that increased his strength for a while. He scratched the back of his head and said that he was very lucky that he was able to overcome it. Qingyang looked around and said that defeating the Beast Lord alone is not easy. If he is not wounded, then they will return to the steel camp. With his current combat power, he thinks he can join the rescue team. Han agreed and asked, will this offensive wave affect large areas? Qingyang replied that it was not clear yet, but many areas had already been affected. They need to destroy all the Lord-level beasts to stop the advance wave from spreading. He still needs to save other people, so let him hurry up and return to the defense line. Han agreed and thought that the matter was urgent, so he needed to quickly collect the trophy. Only the Bear King's body cannot be taken away. He will have to leave it to the detachment that will clear the battlefield. He rushed towards the steel camp and looked at the running beasts, and thought that he had not even imagined that this second-level offensive wave would be so strong. Suddenly he heard someone's cries for help in the thicket of the forest. At this time, two girls were sitting on a tree branch and animals were waiting for them below. One of them told Jiazu that she was scared. Will they really die? Jiazu told Xiao Ying not to talk and hold on to her, she will get them out of here. At that moment, the bear rammed the tree and Xiao Ying jerked and began to fall, but her friend caught her hand in time and told her to hold on, she should not let go of her hand. Xiao Ying started crying and said that she was so scared. At the same moment a panther jumped up to her and she looked down in fear. But at that same moment the panther's head was cut off and Han arrived to help. Xiao Ying was overjoyed and said that it was woohoo, they were saved. Han cut down all the animals in the area and Jiazu said that they were finally saved. But at the same moment, the branch under her feet broke and she began to fall down, but Han caught her in time and landed on the ground and then asked if she was okay. She confirmed his words and thanked him for saving them. Her friend came down from the tree and ran towards her. Han gave them a potion and said that the beasts had temporarily retreated, they needed to hurry back to the defense line. This potion will speed up mental recovery and calm them down a bit, so have them drink it. Jiazu thanked him and said that she didn't know his name, but they would definitely thank him when they returned. Han replied that this was nothing, let them leave here quickly, and it was time for him. He rushed into the air and noticed bright flashes in the distance and thought what was happening there. The bracelet reported that in the center of the offensive wave, a large concentration of Lord-level beasts and several Overlord-level beasts had been discovered. All woohoo and great generals need to move to the specified area as quickly as possible. The rest need to retreat as soon as possible. They need to leave the battlefield. Han thought that the core of this offensive must be ahead. Should he go there? There are beasts of the level of an overlord, now they are too much for him, but he'll go and have a look first. At this time the warriors fought with the beasts. Qingyang asked his partner, has the information been sent? He confirmed his words and said that they needed to wait for the arrival of the main group, they would get there from the steel camp in half an hour. Qingyang said that they would hold out for half an hour. They are bait now, but they must not be allowed to be eaten by these 6 beast overlords. One of the beasts told the people to die, and then released a huge beam of light right at them and Qingyang replied that if it wants his life, then let it come and take it. At the same moment, the monster headed towards him and Qingyang waved his sword and the monster's wings began to weaken, and then a powerful stream of water fell on him and nailed him to the ground. The warrior said that things were bad. They attracted nearby beast lords. He is afraid that together they will not be able to hold back so many animals. Qingyang cut the monster and replied that no matter how many there are, they must hold out. Reinforcements will arrive soon. At the same moment, a flash of lightning flashed past them and the animals turned their heads towards the source of power. Han was in the air, holding a cannon. Qingyang asked, why is this guy here? The warrior asked who he was. Did he want to die? Qingyang said that his name is Zhang Han, he is the son of brother Cheng. The warrior asked in surprise, is this his son? Qingyang confirmed his words and said that he was taking part in the exam this year. Han landed on the nearest rock and pointed the cannon at the animals and told them to come here. He released a powerful beam of light and the system congratulated him for killing a low-level beast lord, the long-maned black bear. For this he receives 11,301 experience, the level of proficiency in the talent Rolling Thunder increases by 618 units. Han threw the cannon aside and took out his sword, shouting to the beasts so that they all die. He used 9 thunder blades to attack and cut 2 snakes. The warrior said that he destroyed 2 low-level lords at once. He says this guy came for exam. Are you sure he wasn't wrong? Their combat power at 18 seems to have not exceeded 10,000. This can't be. All those awakened with S-rank talent are immediately recruited by Mizuki, the remaining talents do not exceed a rank. Meanwhile, a beast emerged from under the water and pounced straight on Han. The warrior noticed this and said that that beast lord was heading towards him. Han asked, does it have the level of an overlord? He's not afraid of it. He rushed at the beast and told it to die. The warrior said that he decided to die. He dared to go head on to the master beast. Qingyang called out to Han and at that very second he could not withstand the attack of the beast and was nailed to the ground. He coughed up blood and the beast attacked him, saying that he was a stupid man. Qingyang worriedly called out to Han and told him to get up. The warrior said that they wouldn't make it in time. Han clenched his teeth, unable to move, and thought, is he going to die like this? Qingyang called out to him and told him to get up quickly. At the same moment, someone used the technique of golden protection and erected a column in front of Han, which protected the beast from him. The beast turned around and saw reinforcements behind him, led by Commander-in-Chief Yang Huan. He told the party that they needed to defeat them. He will take care of this winged golden tiger and let them help Qingyang. The warriors obeyed his order and Qingyang said that since the commander-in-chief is here, they will finish quickly. The beast attacked Yang Huan and began to accumulate energy in its mouth, at which time Huan prepared himself and with one jerk pierced the monster's body through. The huge beast fell to the ground with a roar and Han, looking at Yang Huan, thought that this man was so strong. Is this the combat power of those above woohoo? He began to slowly lose consciousness and the commander-in-chief told the others to clear this area. They need to get rid of all the beast lords. The exam is now over, the main thing is to ensure the safety of all students. He'll take care of the rest when he returns. Now he must cure him. Meanwhile, Han began to bleed and after a while ended up in the hospital. Yang Hyun told the doctors that they must save this guy no matter what. The operation began and he contacted Tang Yun and told him how things were going. Yun called out to him displeasedly and said that Han was her nephew, and is too. If something happens to him, she won't leave him like that. Yan Hyun asked her to let him explain, but she interrupted him and said that she was leaving now. After a while, the doctor came out of the operating room and told the commander-in-chief that the operation was completed. Hyun asked how it went. The doctor replied that the operation was successful. They stitched up his damaged organs, but he lost too much blood and still did not come to his senses. Hyun said that he understood and thanked him for their work. The doctor replied that there was no need for gratitude, it was an honor for them to save warriors fighting animals in the wasteland. Tang Yun's footsteps were heard in the corridor and she asked how Han was doing. Hyun asked how she arrived so quickly. She grabbed his clothes and told him to stop talking nonsense. She asked how Han was doing. Yang Hyun replied that his life was not in danger, but he had not woken up yet. The doctor said that in a few days everything would be fine with him, don't let her worry. She asked displeasedly what he told her then. Will he take care of him? And is he the one who cares so much? He replied that in the wasteland there was danger everywhere. Injury was a common occurrence for a warrior. She exclaimed, is this common? Does he think she doesn't know? It was a master beast. He is only 18 years old. Hyun asked her to calm down and said that if Brother Cheng allowed Han to go out into the wasteland, then he agreed that the guy should follow the path of a warrior. She took out the walkie-talkie and said that she didn't care what kind of training they had there, but when Han wakes up, she'll tell him everything. He must know who she is. Hyun told her not to rush, she should trust her son-in-law's plan. Yun radioed her subordinates and told them to deliver a set of first-class armor from the capital's warehouse. No, let them bring her armor made of shadow dragon scales. Hyun called out to her and said that she was crazy. Armor of this level would not do him any good. Let her just imagine how many problems this could cause him. How many people want to take it away? Is she trying to help him or kill him? Yun shouted that it doesn't matter. She does not care. She doesn't want him to get hurt again. She wiped away her tears and said that this child had suffered so much all his life. Hyun remained silent and after a short pause put his hand on her shoulder and said that he knows, don't let her worry so much. He promises her that when he wakes up, he will place him in the squad and when the time comes, he will watch his every move. He wouldn't let him get hurt like that anymore. Yun agreed, and meanwhile Han was in the depths of his consciousness. He saw a woman in front of him and someone's voice said that his mother was a very kind person. Han reached out his hand to the woman and thought, who is she? The voice said that she loved him and loved all the people on this earth. The woman turned around and Han thought, is this his mother? The voice said that her name was Tang Ying. The image of the woman disappeared and Han thought, is she his mother? He abruptly jumped out of bed and looked around and thought, is he in a steel camp? Yan Hyun entered the room and asked, has he woken up? How is he feeling? Han asked how long he was unconscious. Hyun took off his mask and replied that he had been in this state for 3 days. The offensive was already over. Han asked again, 3 days. Are there many casualties this time? Hyun confirmed his words and said that according to their count, 2,732 students were killed. Han asked, are his teammates okay? Hyun replied that they were fine. In this offensive, he saved many people and killed Lord-level beasts, so his team received the right to enter Mizuki. He went to the window and said that there was something else he needed to think about. He looked at Han and said that his name is Yang Hyun, he is the captain of the Ghost Squad, taking into account his successes in the past battle, but wants to invite him to join his squad. What will he say to this? Han asked, Ghost Squad. Hyun confirmed his words and said that all members of the Ghost Squad were Woohoo level and above. In addition, Lai Chengyang, already known to him, is also in his squad. Han was delighted to hear his name and replied that of course he agreed. Hyun welcomed him to their team and said that they would go on a mission when he recovered. Han replied that he was already healthy. Hyun said that his comrade Chang Hao had a fight with a man named Kian Feng during the offensive and was injured, and now both of them are behind bars. Han asked again, Chang Hao. He is his good friend, and Kian Feng did not get along with them before. Let him take him to him. Hyun told him not to rush. Meanwhile, in the prison basement, a man asked the guards what kind of idiots were the rest of the camp. He fought bravely on the front line while behind the lines they arrested his son. May they let him go quickly. This man's name is Kian Anguo. His son called out to him and told him to quickly get him out of here. Chang Hao grunted with displeasure and Kian Anguo told the guards that his son was a warrior. They had no right to detain him without good reason. Hyun approached them from behind and said that this was done on his orders. Does he have any questions? Kian Anguo quickly turned around and asked, General Young. Chang Hao saw Han and said that he was alive. It was such a relief. Cayenne Anguo turned to General Yang and asked, since this was his order, there should have been a reason for the arrest. Huan replied that his son, at the very beginning of the offensive, instead of assisting other warriors, began to fight with them in order to save his own life. Cayenne Anguo replied that without evidence, such accusations are simply slander. Huan asked if he needed proof. Of course, he will organize an investigation. Han called out to Captain Yang and said that since this matter concerns his comrade, he should let him sort it out. Chang Hao worriedly called out to his friend in Cayenne Anguo, calling Han a puppy, asked where he came from. What right does he have to deal with this? Han stepped forward and said that since his son had injured his friends in the wasteland, then they would resolve this matter according to the laws of the wasteland. He challenges Cayenne Feng to a duel. After a while, the entire Han and Qingyang team gathered in one room, and Ran said that during the offensive, this Cayenne Feng killed a bunch of people and almost killed them. Chang Hao said that he wants to kill him to avenge the dead. He looked at Han and said that thank God he was okay, but he was seriously injured. Is he sure he wants to duel? Han replied that since he had already volunteered, he would definitely help them take revenge. Don't let him worry. Gan put his hand on Han's shoulder and said that he was wrong to ridicule him earlier, so he hopes he will forgive him. This time he saved them, so now he trusts his life to him. Han smiled and replied that they were comrades. Why did he need his life? Qingyang said that the duel would take place in 5 hours. He will help with the organization and make sure that Cayenne Anguo does not influence the outcome in any way. In addition, they need to prepare to enter Mizuki. He expelled Xiao Fan from their team. Han agreed and Chang Hao asked, are they also enrolling in Mizuki? They passed the exam. Gan asked with a smile, is he dreaming? He also goes to Mizuki University. Qingyang told them to prepare well, especially Han, let him heal his wounds. Han told him not to worry about it. They would see each other during the duel. Time passed, all the spectators gathered around the huge arena, awaiting the upcoming duel. Cayenne Feng told Han to just wait, he will show him what is called the difference in strength. Han agreed and replied that he would watch carefully. They entered the arena and the fight organizer asked both parties to sign an agreement. In the arena they will fight to the death, outsiders are prohibited from interfering. He raised his hand and announced that the duel to the death had begun. The audience began to support Feng and his father told him to finish with him quickly. He and his uncles are throwing a banquet in his honor tonight. Chang Hao asked if they were rejoicing too early. The winner has not yet been determined. Ran wished Han good luck and Cayenne Anguo, looking at Qingyang, said that he didn't know why he and Yang Huan were so protective of this guy, but soon they would never see him again. Qingyang remained silent and Feng said that the difference in combat power cannot be made up by a sense of justice. He pointed the sword at him and said that since he had stood up for his friends, that first he would get rid of him, and then he would slowly torture them until they themselves died. Han replied that he should try. Feng rushed at him and told him to die, but Han parried his blow and the spectators said in surprise that Cayenne Feng had awakened in a rank talent, sword aspiration. What a powerful blow. Han asked, is that all? Disgusting technology. He pointed his sword down and then slid the blade forward and disarmed him. Feng's sword fell behind him and the spectators exclaimed in surprise. With one blow he knocked out Feng's sword. Cayenne Anguo told his son that it was just an accident. Let him show him his strength. Han threw the sword on the floor and said that with it he would not need a weapon. Feng got angry, called him a little idiot, and attacked him, telling him to die already. Han extended his hand forward, forming a thunder sphere in front of him, and Cayenne Anguo thought, where did he get such a high-level skill? He called out to his son and told him to dodge. But it was too late. Han extended his hand forward and hit him, and then he was thrown to the end of the arena and fell unconscious on the floor. Cayenne Anguo called out to his son in fear and entered the arena, heading towards Han, and said that he dared to kill his son, he would make him pay for it. But at the same moment Qingyang appeared in front of him and said that the mortal duel was not over yet. Anyone who tries to interfere will be killed immediately. Cayenne Anguo exclaimed, is he really going to stop him? Qingyang extended his hand to the side, blocking his passage, and Cayenne Anguo, calling Han a moron, said that he would not allow him to touch his son. Feng opened his eyes, looking up, and Han said that he deserved death at least because, in the face of the threat of the attack of animals, he attacked the same warriors as himself. Feng kept trying to say something and his body was increasingly enveloped in sparks. Then Han clenched his hand into a fist and Feng was very scared, and after that there was an explosion and his father attacked Han, exclaiming how dare he. Qingyang blocked his way and said that there are many people here now. What was he up to? Cayenne Anguo shouted and said that he would make him pay. Qingyang asked, will he take responsibility if anyone here gets hurt? In response, Cayenne Anguo shouted and told the Han that he was protected this time, but they could not protect him for the rest of his life. The day will come when he will pay with his life. The two men picked up Feng and told Cayenne Anguo that they would take Feng away first. Cayenne Anguo exclaimed in rage that he was not Cayenne Anguo if he did not take revenge on him. He turned around and said he was leaving. After that, Qingyang went to the center of the arena and said that the duel was over, now he wants to make an announcement. Due to the advance of the beasts, they were forced to finish the test 2 days early. But all the points for the animals they killed were taken into account and calculated, now they will be able to see them. In first place was team number 1831. Team Captain Han, team members Cheng Hao, Zhao Gang, Wang Ran. Total points 10,420. 1 high-level beast lord and 1 mid-level beast lord killed. 5 low-level beast lords, 12 beast soldiers, and several ordinary mutant beasts were killed. One of the spectators asked in surprise, "Is this the Han team? Did they kill so many beast lords? How is this possible?" Someone else said this is on a whole different level. Jan asked, "Is their team first?" Cheng Hao cursed in shock and asked Han, "Is this all his doing?" Qingyang said that they would each receive their report cards later. Those who passed the exam should return home and wait for news. He called out to Han and told him to stay for a while, he would take him to someone. Han agreed, and after that they came to some room and Qingyang said that they had arrived. There were 3 people sitting at the table in the room and Qingyang said that these were members of the Ghost Squad and in the future his comrades. He pointed to the girl and said that her name is Lai Mayo, she is a top-level woohoo, and she has an S-rank talent, Water Element. He pointed to the man and said that his name is Wang Jinhu, he is a mid-level woohoo with an S-rank Metal Element talent. He pointed to the last man and said that this is Zhu Ran, he is a mid-level woohoo with an S-rank Scaling talent. Jinhu told Han that they are comrades now, so let him call him uncle if he doesn't mind. Lai Mayo said that she was his aunt. Zhu Ran laughed and said that they were about the same age as his father. Han asked if they knew his father. Zhu Ran awkwardly scratched the back of his head and asked how they knew him. He just assumed. Han was upset and Qingyang put his hand on his shoulder and said that now he should return home to recover. Until then he cannot fight. Later he takes him on the train to Lancia. Han agreed and said that he really had not been home for a long time. He headed towards the exit and Zhu Ran said that he was Cheng's son. Qingyang confirmed his words and Lai Mayo said that there could be no mistake, he is very similar to his father. 7 days have passed. Granny came to the restaurant and told Han that she had come again. Han put the food on the table and said that it was just in time, he had just prepared something to eat. Today there is porridge with striped deer meat, let her try it. She laughed and thanked him and then asked if he was injured a few days ago. He replied that he was injured during the attack of the beasts a week ago, but now everything is fine. She smiled and said that his combat experience was growing before his eyes. Han replied that he needed to work harder and train more often in the wasteland. After eating, he goes there again on a mission. Granny Sue said that in the wasteland, experience and combat power are important, but the characteristics of talent are also of great importance. What are his talent features? Han asked, is she talking about his specialty? He hadn't thought about it yet. She said that the sooner he decided on this, the easier it would be for him to improve his combat power. He thanked her and said that he would remember this. After she ate, she thanked him for the porridge and told him to be careful in the wasteland. Time has passed. Students gathered in front of the bridge and Qingyang said that everyone present was new to Mizuki University. From now on, the 4 of them will be responsible for their special training this year. The training site is located in a swampy area 600 kilometers from here. If there are no questions, then they are put forward now. The students raised their hands